Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
You know how annoying it is when someone keeps stopping mid-sentence as though he or she were asking you a series of questions? Avoid doing that. It sounds unnervingly tentative, and it imposes upon the listener to help you complete the thought. And if you're a job seeker, this alone could be a deal killer. An effective communicator sounds more confident. Complete the thought. Avoid making the listener impatient. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook. Survivalspeech.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Here in the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie. Oh,
sorry, we moved my microphone. It's Ian here.
I didn't unmute you. Sorry about that.
No worries. You're doing great.
Okay, and I'd like to talk to you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is the best source for learning about cryptocurrency. You can go there now and click on Get Started at the top of the page. Once you do that, you'll find all sorts of valuable information neatly organized to suit your needs. There is no longer an excuse for ignoring this important, world-changing information. If you are a knowledgeable crypto user, you can check out news.bitcoin.com to get the latest headlines of all the news that's relevant to you. Bitcoin.com is your source for everything crypto, like getting a wallet app, mining, trading, and all the latest cryptocurrency news, all on a slick and easy-to-use website, bitcoin.com.
All right. Now what?
We have a caller calling from Chicago. Ken, you're on the line with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, hi. Yes, I can.
Hey, Ken.
Yes, hi. It's nice to call in. This is my first time. I just heard about Free Talk Live.
Wow.
A friend of mine.
Cool.
And so I don't know what station it's broadcast on in the city of Chicago. I'd like to know that.
Unfortunately, as of the last time I was in charge of affiliate relations, that we did not have any stations in Chicago. We've got about 185 stations coast to coast, but I don't believe there's anything in your immediate vicinity, so you would have to only listen to us online at freetalklive.com.
But we're on 7 nights a week, live from 7 to 10 Eastern Time, so
That's
you can
right.
catch us every night.
And we're on a whole bunch of video streaming services as well, like Twitch and DLive, which we just restarted the stream on that because it was from the other studio, and now it's from this one.
And Ken, you were calling to talk about that religious rhetoric has caused gay people and maybe trans people to take their lives.
Yes, many gay people have been victims of fag bashing, which is what is when you aggress against and eventually murder somebody who is just because they're gay or lesbian, and you don't like that. And a lot of times that's people will, when they're caught and confronted about it, they'll say it's because of their religious firmament. And many gay and lesbian people have in fact committed suicide because they receive that rhetoric from a very young age from their religious communities. And there have been, I have talked to many gay people whose families, whose parents, in fact, were so homophobic, they would, send up for conversion therapy and then really get mad at them because it didn't work and all this stuff. Well, the reason why it doesn't work is because you're born that way.
Yeah. It's too bad Aria isn't on the show still at this point, because as I understand her history, when she was growing up in the South in Mississippi and growing up in some sort of Christian right-wing family, I believe they did send her to one of those pray the gay away camps, and of course, it didn't work. So, Ken, do you personally have experience with this, or are you just referencing some friends of yours?
Oh, no, I personally have. As a matter of fact, yes. My mother, who passed away 13 years ago, was inordinately homophobic, and it was based on religion. And she would always say, well, I don't understand why you people don't understand that the Bible says it's wrong. Well, the thing is, people have, such as it is, have misinterpreted the Bible. And, there have been Rhodes scholars as of late that have gone and have found out a lot of documentation that was supposed to be added to the Bible and never was. And as far as why that is, we don't know, but that is what happened. And
I've heard, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I've heard that, depending on the translation or how it was translated, that ultimately the argument is that it was mistranslated to say that man shall not lay with man, but ultimately what they meant was that man shall not lay with children instead of men. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that, but I've also taken a class on the Bible and homosexuality, and one of the things that's come up is that in the scripture verse where it says a man shall not lie with a man, if a man lie with a man the way a man lie with a woman, that's an abomination unto the Lord. But what that's been interpreted also to mean is that don't rape. A man shouldn't rape another man, and all of that stuff. Whereas, that basically, that because of that type of sex, and everything like that. So I'm not sure.
I think just to take it on a more fundamental level, rather than looking at this old book, which ultimately was written by men and interpreted by men, and of course there can be all kinds of different interpretations of that book, and ultimately it's just the view of God of the people of that time, and those views I think can and should change as we can better understand what God is and who God is and those things. And just looking at the idea of creation of man in general. If God created man in his own image, then gay people were created. They are a natural part of nature. They're not the majority, but they're a part of nature. And so there's nothing not to love about those folks.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, that even if there was some way to prove that the Bible says actually that you shouldn't be homosexual, nobody today should be living their lives based on a book that was written by a bunch of people who were also repressing women, repressing everybody back then. And, they had really bad governments, too, that were repressing them. Nobody should be living their lives based on that book if that is even the true interpretation. I lived in Utah for a while. Over there, they still will kick, it happens all the time. You can get kicked out of your family if you're Mormon for being gay. I personally know people being ostracized from their families for being gay. It's really sad.
And then all their friends, everybody they knew, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I can believe that.
Ken, did you want to share more of your thoughts, or we nail it?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there was a second comment that I wanted to make, and that is that, I'm also find it disconcerting about the violence in the Middle East. I wish that the Jewish population over there would stay out of Palestine and quit slaughtering those people, because they're fighting for a land that is not theirs, has never been theirs, and never will be theirs. And that's just, hey, be nice to your neighbors, because you never know who you're going to need. And nobody can predict the future of their lives.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that. Obviously, there was the recent violence over there, just the most recent iteration of that. And I remember hearing about a woman that was, her house was blown up in Palestine. And she can't just rebuild the house because there's all kinds of controls by the Israeli government on what construction materials can even be allowed in. They control like the choke points that allow materials into this place. You can't even just fix things that they break.
Well, thank you for your call, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
603-283-6160.
Free Talk Live.
What's the difference between a stoplight and a school bus?
A stoplight is a light, and a school bus is a school bus.
Full of children.
Right. So
That's a good
The light
lad.
doesn't have any kids in it.
That's what you call a derelict, educated derelict.
yeah,
You gotta come out of Harvard.
I'm really not a derelict. I work for a
You
living.
are an educated derelict. Well, you
Barbara,
know what?
I agree with
Have
you.
fun, play your games.
No.
You're a
Because I'll tell you
fornicator,
what,
Mark.
When
Barbara.
you pass that next red light, I sure hope they get you good. Now,
Barbara,
hope you don't kill anybody.
I'm agreeing with
Oh,
you.
she hung up on you, Mark.
But I agree with you, Barbara. I was telling you that I agree with you, except for the stoplight thing.
Children, Mark. There's children around. At every red light, you could possibly kill someone.
This, by the way, gentlemen.
If you would run a red light at 3 in the morning when there's no traffic as far as the eye can see, then you would just as soon run over a school bus and kill all the kids inside.
Free Talk Live. 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless crime spree.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live is talk radio that you control. You can call in at 603-283-6160. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie.
And it's Ian.
And we already have a caller calling from Indianapolis, I think it is. Kirby, are you on the line with us?
I am absolutely on the line.
Hey, Kirby.
Man, it is so glad to see you out of the Who Scout.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm pleased as a pig in mud, bro.
Well, I wish our friend Nobody could be out too. He's still there. So.
I do too. That's all right. He'll be out soon enough. And when you talk to him, find out if he got my letter.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm prohibited from talking to him, but perhaps Bonnie could do that the next time he calls her.
Yep,
if that
I definitely
happens.
can.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
If you didn't get it back, there's a good chance he got it. If you didn't get it
cool. Because I did actually call his abductors, the SS. So at any rate, man, I want to rant tonight. There's a company called Verify Me, and what they do, and they do business with every state and the federal government, and their job is to be a third-party entity to verify your identification for things like unemployment. Mm-hmm. Now, I filed unemployment in January. I sent them copies of ID front and back, Social Security card front and back, full face picture, birth certificate, gun permit, insurance card, which I got through the state, so they were able to verify me. Food stamp card, which comes from the Fed, basically. They were able to verify me. Yet, it is June the 2nd, and I've been waiting since February the 6th, and all they need to do is either give me a phone call or a video chat, and they've yet to do it. I called the state. The state told me, and I quote, "It's a third party. We have nothing to do with it. No, you cannot come in and do this personally like you did when you got your insurance." Because, again, that's a state facility. I was able to go in personally. But when I went to get new ID, I had to go in personally. State facility. But I can't do it for unemployment.
Is this a COVID thing? Is this you can't go in personally because of COVID? Wow,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is correct. But yet and still, every other state agency let you come in and do your business.
Wow. So what's this third-party company, Verify Me?
It's called Verify Me. Look them up online. I send them at least one email a day with all my documents, and I get an automated response that says, "Thank you for your response. We will get to you as soon as we can."
And it's been how many months?
A trouble ticket number. It's been since February the 6th.
Wow, it's so annoying.
Great service.
Yeah, and the state of Indiana is paying these people millions to do it. And every other state, and if you look at their website, they are doing business with every state.
Sure.
They're doing business with the Department of Treasury. But yet and still, a simple individual can't get his ID, can't get a 2-minute phone call.
Well, it's interesting how working with the government makes everything less efficient. Because you're getting a guaranteed paycheck no matter how good you do. So why do well?
Right. They got this gig. I mean, not knowing one thing or another about this particular company, they got this gig because somebody at the company knows somebody in government. They got some government politician in their back pocket. They've been paying their back scratching fees and all that, and they got the contract based on probably nepotism. It's probably somebody's sister or brother or whatever, and they're charging 10 times more than any of their competitors would be able to get away with charging, and they don't have to lift a finger in any decent amount of time to do anything because they know they're not going to lose the contract.
Their own bosses, the state, aren't making them do anything to help you, Kirby.
It's idiocy to me that it takes this long. I can understand a couple, 3 weeks, but I just wanted the people to know that look it up, whatever state you're in, your state is doing business with them, and we should stop this. Now, as far as the people who might be politicians, let's try Greg Holcomb, our governor, or Greg Porter, my state legislative representative, or maybe Andre Carson, my congressman, all of which are bums and don't do their job. And I wish the American people would listen to this and look at their own politicians and figure out they're bums. We don't need them. And until we do, we will be slaves.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
Yep, they're just henchmen, Kirby. Thank you for your call. They're just henchmen who are bums because why are they going to do any extra work when they are already doing whatever work they're told by their masters to do?
Yeah, they're getting paid. They got their nice healthcare packages and their bonuses or whatever, and they get the speaking engagements after they get out of office, and they get hired by corporations as consultants. And I mean, they've got their golden parachute away from government. It doesn't matter what they do to help you. They're not interested in helping you.
They're just thugs with a makeup team.
They're there to help themselves. That's why they got the job. And I agree with Kirby. As soon as people figure this out, things can change. But I don't think they're going to figure it out anytime soon. People seem to totally believe in the state. If anybody thought we were on some sort of precipice of a revolution or whatever, 2020 should have set them straight on that, because 2020 with the whole COVID insanity really revealed how truly obedient the American population is by and large. I'm not saying everybody is on board with, being totally obedient, but man, even here in the so-called live free or die state, I was pretty disappointed by how many people just did what they were told.
Yeah, me too, especially in Texas. Before COVID happened, if you would have told me that Texans would let the government close churches and all businesses over a disease.
Tell you what to wear?
Oh, and tell you what to wear. I wouldn't have thought the Texans would ever have done that, yet the Facebook group of the suburb of San Antonio I lived in at the beginning of COVID, they were just all arguing and so pro-state. They were like it was a majority pro-state. We listen to we got to listen to our
elected representatives.
Our representatives. What's the word they always like to use?
The health experts.
Experts. We got to
scientists.
Listen to experts.
CDC.
Yep. I don't know. I just can't. Last year during the BLM movement, I really did. Well, like the resurged BLM
Black
movement.
Lives Matter.
Yeah. In 2020, I really did think, because I had been not paying attention to politics really at all for several years, I had just I was a libertarian, and then I just kind of decided, what's the point? I'm just going to go drink every day. And
sounds like a lot of libertarians.
Yeah, and so during the BLM movement last year, I was actually like, wow, it looks like something's actually happening, and I really believed that some people wanted to abolish the police. That's just been all but forgotten about by now.
Sure.
I only got back into libertarian things and listening to Free Talk Live and stuff because I thought that something was really happening.
Aww.
I went to a abolish the police rally just to
Where,
find
in San
out
Antonio?
In San Antonio, just to find out that it was actually not that. It was like co-opted. It seemed like, I don't know. Nobody was talking about abolishing the police there.
We saw that happen here in New Hampshire as well. The Black Lives Matter rallies in Keene and Manchester were pretty solid, but then the Nashua rally was totally co-opted is the exact word that I would have used. Nobody and I both went to these rallies, so we were able to compare notes and see what the differences were. And the one that was in Nashua had people from the government speaking. So like the mayor of Nashua, one of the Nashua city councilors, the Nashua police chief was there. I mean, the thing was completely owned from top to bottom by the state.
It seemed, there wasn't government people talking at the ones in San Antonio, but it just seemed like people were trying to change the conversation to just something other than what I expected it to be. I went there with a sign that said, abolish the police, and I don't remember what else it said, but like something about not enforcing unjust laws. And it just seemed like nobody else had the same energy.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. I'm grateful to have heard from some of our satellite listeners recently. I appreciate knowing that people are out there who like what we do and are willing to support it financially. LRN.FM's free-to-air satellite feeds blanket most of 2 continents. It was my goal to put our channel there so people without internet could receive our programs and feed pirate radio stations. We started a fundraiser on Patreon a few years ago to back the satellite channels. I recently announced that I was considering canceling the feeds, and donations increased from 15 to 20% of our costs, which are around $1,000 per month. That's a good start, and to incentivize more contributions, the Shire Free Church will be matching every dollar. Can we reach $500 per month? With your help, we can. You can join our satellite fundraiser for just $2 a month at fund.lrn.fm. If we raise enough to keep both of the channels on the air, awesome. If we raise more, I'll add more channels. If not, we can shut them down and go internet only. It's up to you. Thank you for your support. fund.lrn.fm. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in at 603-283-6160. Talk about whatever you want, bring up whatever is on your mind. With us in the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie.
And it's Ian.
And right now we have a caller. We have Lysander Knapp calling us. Lysander, what is your topic for today?
Oops.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that.
Article today. Oh, what was that?
Oh, I didn't get you at the beginning. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. What was your topic today?
Yeah, I actually came across an article today from the Seattle Times talking about how legal marijuana producers are basically wanting to use the government to crack down on Delta 8.
No.
Okay, first you have to explain what Delta 8 is.
Yes. Delta 8 is it's different from Delta 9 THC, which is the THC that is in regular marijuana. Delta 8 is just like one molecule different, but essentially it is THC, and you can't get a high from it, just not as intense.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard people say just not as intense, and I don't know if I agree with that. I mean,
me either.
I was just saying the line there too.
That is the line.
Yeah, I think that's marketing. Yeah, I think that is a marketing line from the Delta 8 producers because they're trying to not have their molecule outlawed.
Yeah.
I suspect because ultimately is very, very similar in my experience to THC Delta 9, which is your standard cannabis chemical. And apparently in a lot of states it's legal. So before the raid happened here, I had used Delta 8. I have not since the raid, but because it shows up on a drug test just like regular cannabis. So even though it's legal,
they won't care.
It still
they
looks
wouldn't care.
like a drug to
Yeah,
them.
in Texas, I first tried it at a friend's house, and I was like, wow, what is this? And she thought it was CBD since she got it from her boyfriend. Then I went to go buy myself some, and I tried it in the store, and then I couldn't drive away for like 30 minutes because it was very intense. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So you're saying, Lysander, that the legal marijuana producers are now starting a war against Delta 8? Why?
I honestly, I'm guessing it's because it's cutting into it's competition. They don't like it.
It's competition because you don't need to have a special license to manufacture or sell Delta 8, I'm guessing?
Oh, yeah. I was reading the article a little bit, and they were talking about how since it's unregulated, there could be dangerous metals in the Delta 8, and they're just giving it's almost like reefer madness for Delta 8. It was ridiculous.
Wow. You'd think that they wouldn't want to do that to other people when it's been done to them.
Yeah, you would think.
They don't care.
Yep, it's all about money.
It's all about money. Now that they're part of the corporate game and they're all accepted, now they want to use the government as a cudgel to beat their competition.
Sure, in the same way that they would have also and do many, I'm sure, want to have the government investigating anybody growing marijuana without government permission. Because remember, the war on pot is still going on. Even in the in the legal states, because there's still black market suppliers. Like, for instance, in Massachusetts, just to the south of us here in New Hampshire, it is legal to purchase at various different storefronts, but there's still a ton of black market activity down there because you can get black market weed for like half the price. And so, you know, they're still busting underground growers and underground dealers down there. And I'm sure the regulated people are cheering that on because, well, they paid their licensing fees.
Well, here's another thing that's funny from I think it was last week I read this, and it just reminded me of it, is I believe New York actually did make Delta 8 illegal, even though marijuana is legal there.
Wow. Wait, New York? Marijuana is legal in New York? I must have forgotten or missed that one. I thought they just declared.
I thought I read that it was legal. I may be wrong, but I thought I just checked on that, and I was like, it's legal there, but they're making Delta 8 illegal, which wouldn't surprise me any other time.
Have you heard about a Delta 10?
Yes, and I've done it.
And what is that like?
It's it's intense.
Intense. Wow.
It's intense. It's I don't know. It just hits you harder. It's honestly the way I described Delta 8 is like a really good indica. I would describe Delta 10 like a really good sativa.
Wow, that's cool. Thanks for the heads up on that, man. Anything else you want to share?
No, that was it.
All right, thanks for the
Good call.
call,
See you guys at
Lysander.
Fork Fest.
I wish. But the Free Talk Live will be at Fork Fest in some form or another. As I understand it, Aria is planning on going out there. Not that she's told me that personally, because we haven't talked, but I've heard her say that on the air, that she's planning on going.
Yep, Aria's going to be there, and probably some other hosts. I'm not going because I don't want to leave Ian for a whole week, and I get to have Keen all to myself with Ian because everybody's going to go to Fork Fest and Pork Fest.
As they should. I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's true, but I heard a rumor that the campground is sold out for Fork Fest. So it had already sold out for the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which happens the week prior to Fork Fest. I believe it starts on the 21st this year. And I don't know if that's a true rumor or not, but that's what I've heard.
I've heard it from multiple people. I think it is true.
Wow.
I guess
that's
it's
true,
FedFest.
If that's true, that's amazing. To have a what is essentially a brand new festival, Fork Fest. This is only year number 5. You can go to forkfest.party to learn more about that event. I think it's the 28th through the 4th, June 28th through July 4th or 5th, maybe.
It's 4th.
4th. Okay, thank you.
Yep, and the main problem, going back to the weed issue, the main problem here is that we need geriatric Jesus, as Mark calls him, to make weed federally legal and just make it stop making it a Schedule 1 substance or whatever it is.
Now, who is geriatric Jesus? Is it the president?
Joe Biden.
Okay.
That's what Mark calls him. We need him to
Weird.
make weed federally legal because it's federally legal because it's just ridiculous that our federal government makes it a Schedule 1 substance.
Well, wasn't there a descheduling bill that came up late 2020 or something like that? I feel like this was
It happens
something...
all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. It does happen a lot, but now it seems like it might have an actual chance of getting passed. I'm guessing maybe it didn't, but I'd be curious to know why it failed or where it failed.
Well, geriatric Jesus can just write all these things into immediate law. Why can't he just make weed legal?
I don't think that maybe he could just reschedule it. I don't know if that's something that requires an act of Congress or if it's just something that the president can wave his little, magic wand and issue an executive order and have that change. But you do have to remember that that Joe Biden is one of the arch drug warriors in Congress.
I know. That's why it's just silly.
I mean, he's been there for 50 years or something like that of his life, and he never lifted a finger to end the war on drugs. He increased it.
Yep, he wrote I think it was 1989. A caller said a caller one time corrected me on it, but I think it's the 1989 crime bill.
And what did that do?
It incarcerated a whole lot more people for drugs.
He also authored the Rave Act in the early 2000s, which cracked down on locations that would be ostensibly holding a rave, which is a party with music and dancing.
Usually a lot of drugs.
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of drugs at any old concert, too. Whatever concert you go to, whether it's a rock and roll show or pop music or whatever, there's plenty of people using and taking drugs there. But, if drugs were found on the premises at some sort of live music event, then I believe the Rave Act would have made, and it passed, it's law from what I believe it still is, that the venue owner would then be held legally responsible and could have the venue itself essentially, they would lose their venue.
Yep. God forbid a bunch of people take some drugs, open their minds, look into the void, and realize the absurdity of government.
Yeah, it's too bad that the ravers never did. I mean, they took a lot of drugs, but they never really realized the absurdity of government. The ravers tend to be very leftist, socialist types, and so when the government told them to stop throwing raves, they stopped.
I was more just referring to the fact that drugs are illegal.
True, but it is a shame that people who have taken various different entheogenic drugs or empathogenic drugs did not come to some of the same conclusions that the rest of us have.
Well, I think that a lot of it is just about mindset in general. Like, if you're not even thinking about something like that, it's never going to cross your mind when you're high.
That's true.
Setting.
Indeed.
Whatever.
Set and setting, very important.
Okay, so this is Free Talk Live, 603-283-6160. Call in with your calls and thoughts. Free Talk Live.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The source of the cyber attack confirmed. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The FBI says two groups based in Russia are behind the ransomware attack on JBS, the world's largest meat processing company.
At the White House, Press Secretary Jen Psaki says these ransomware attacks have been rising in recent weeks and says it will come up at the upcoming summit between Biden and Putin in Geneva. JBS has more than $50 billion in annual sales worldwide and accounts for 20% of all the meat and pork sold in the U.S. Its American headquarters is in Greeley, Colorado, an hour north of Denver.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. And New York City's Metropolitan Transit Authority, the largest mass transit system in North America, says hackers infiltrated its computer system in April, but it says it quickly shut down the breach. And follow-up investigations found no sensitive information was stolen and the rail system was never compromised. A defense attorney for Derrick Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted on state charges of killing George Floyd, is asking the court to sentence Chauvin to probation and time served, citing Chauvin's age, lack of a criminal record, and support from family and friends. Prosecutors are asking for 30 years. Chauvin's expected to be sentenced later this month. He still faces federal charges. He calls it a month of action. President Biden pushing to reach his goal to get 70% of Americans vaccinated by the 4th of July. He's calling on younger people to get the shot.
We especially need people under 40 to step up. Over 40 is doing much better.
The president says 75% of senior citizens have gotten vaccinated. The president met for about an hour today with Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito as they try to reach a deal on infrastructure. The White House says they will meet again on Friday. On Wall Street, the Dow gained 25, the Nasdaq plus 19. America is listening to Fox News.
Indeed is the job site that makes hiring as easy as 1, 2, 3. Post, screen, and interview, all on Indeed. Get your quality shortlist of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description faster. Only pay for the candidates that meet must-have qualifications. According to Talent Nest, Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined. If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Get started right now with the free $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Fox. Indeed.com/Fox. Offer valid through June 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
The governor of Texas has declared a border emergency.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott signs an emergency declaration for 34 Texas counties along or near the U.S. border with Mexico. Abbott says the Biden administration's relaxing of border enforcement continues to allow gangs and drugs to run rampant into Texas communities. He says that while hundreds of millions of dollars are regularly spent by Texas law enforcement on border matters, the scaling down of federal immigration enforcement is causing the state to now spend billions protecting residents. The emergency declaration will now direct more state resources to intercept illegal migrants and trafficked drugs. Eben Brown, Fox News.
This is Vice President Harris prepares for her trip next week to the Northern Triangle, where she will meet with the leaders of Guatemala and Mexico to discuss migration.
It is about what we need to do and can do together to both support the folks who need help in terms of hunger, the economic development piece, the extreme weather, and the impact that has had on their economy.
The vice president said the top priority is to address the root causes of migration, and she says they will also discuss crime and violence against the most vulnerable. 3 voting rights groups in Kansas are suing the state's election officials over 2 Republican-backed election laws that passed over the veto of Democratic Governor Laura Kelly. The groups contend the laws are unconstitutional because they claim they suppress free speech and disenfranchise voters.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Medical experts announced that an Ebola vaccine is at least 50 white people away from being developed. The CIA is now ready to install a female world leader, and a sex toy is discreetly shipped in a plain dildo-shaped box. Rising to the top of the video news summary game through an unstoppable combination of glad-handing and payoffs, this is the Onion Week in Review. Reflecting on his accomplishments and questioning his current abilities, the Lord God Almighty, our Heavenly Father and Blessed Savior, told reporters that he was no longer confident whether he would be able to create the world in only 7 days. He who commanded light to shine from the darkness admitted that the mere thought of producing the entirety of the universe from nothingness, a task he once completed with time to spare, had become surprisingly daunting, and added that creating a small, lifeless moon or asteroid now seemed like a more realistic goal. In this week's science news, psychology comes to a halt as weary researchers say the mind cannot possibly study itself.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yes, this is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. In the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie.
And it's Ian.
And that number to call in if you want to call in and bring up your thoughts is 603-283-6160. Tonight we've been talking about everything from Delta 8 to gay rights.
All good topics.
All good topics. We touched on the Palestine and Israel conflict. Well, I want to tell you about the Crypto 6. On March 16th, 2021, government agencies conspired together and raided the Free Talk Live studio, the Bitcoin Embassy, and the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Renee and Andy Spinella, and Colleen Fordham. The Crypto Six were then arrested and taken into custody, and Ian Freeman and Nobody remain in custody.
Nope, that's old.
Oh, well, Nobody remains in custody, sorry. Ian is right here.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. What can you do to help? Check out thecrypto6.com. There are multiple ways in which you can donate to their legal defense fund because these charges aren't a joke. It's going to take a serious legal team and many experts to protect the Crypto Six from further aggression from the state. This case will likely set precedent that will affect the world of cryptocurrency for decades to come. Help them in their fight for liberty and financial freedom by contributing to their legal defense fund at thecrypto6.com. Once more, thecrypto6.com.
Actually, I think one of the best ways people can help is getting the word out about this. I mean, it's great to have attorneys. We do have them at this point, but we don't have a whole lot of attention for this case. There's not a lot of news coverage that's been going on. So yeah, get the word out about the Crypto Six, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's go straight into the calls. We have Dodger from Michigan calling, and he wants to talk about the masks. Dodger, are you there?
Hello. First off, Ian, you and I have spoken on the air several times, and it is very good to hear your voice.
Thanks, Dodger.
Not coming from that phone. Yep. At either rate, I'm certainly in your corner, and I just kind of wanted to talk about the mask situation here in Michigan since they lifted restrictions.
Okay.
And it's just nice to see people's faces again. Now, first off, I was depending on the store, because here in Michigan, there were those hardcore stores. Actually, there still are those hardcore stores, even though they've lifted the restrictions that say, we don't care, you still have to wear a mask.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what percentage of the stores are still requiring masks in your experience?
Probably about 5.
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
Yeah. No, it's really nice to actually see people's faces again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, technically, you're supposed to be fully vaccinated, but there's no way to check it. Like, I checked up on it. A person cannot walk up to you and ask you to show that you've been vaccinated. It's legally, they cannot do that.
Yeah, I mean, as Bonnie points out, they can't do that yet. I mean, we've certainly seen, like in New York State, where they've come out with a state passport of some sort. You have to get like an app on your phone, and it's run by some, big tech giant or whatever that they are requiring to get into certain sporting events or other businesses. So, I mean, I think it's good that we aren't seeing that right now, but maybe later this year, round 3 of COVID comes out, and then all of a sudden things get worse. I mean,
probably because of the vaccines, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I hope we don't see that happen. And I do know that there are some states that seem to be pushing against any sort of mandate like that. So maybe we'll get lucky and dodge that bullet. But what do you think?
Now, real quick, I just before Bonnie picked up and screened my call, I just took a pretty big bong hit. So, and I wasn't expecting her to pick up so soon.
Oh,
but
that's why you said sorry. I had a frog in my throat.
Yes, exactly. That was I had a frog in my throat. At either rate, actually, the real reason that I wanted to call, shit, man.
Oh, we can't have you say that. Bonnie, just hit that dump button down
I'm
there,
sorry.
would you?
Sorry.
Thanks so much. We'll let you get away with that one because it seed like a legitimate accident. So go ahead, please.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely was. No, okay. I'm actually thrilled to have both of you on the phone. I actually forgot. So apparently that was
the bong rip did its job.
In my throat, so y'all have a wonderful night.
Thanks for the call, Dodger.
You have a wonderful night too. Thanks for the call. We have another call. We have Dave from Poughkeepsie calling in to talk about why he hates women.
Oh, this will be a fresh, original perspective. Go ahead, Dave.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please don't say any curse words about women on the air, but go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, unfortunately, we can hear you.
I mean, it sounds kind of bad now that you say something.
I say guys, but like I'm trying to find a car.
I don't know if we're
He's
gonna
in
be
a
able to
bad
hear
cell.
him. It does seem like you're in a bad cell.
Dave, are you on a cell phone right now? Put him on hold. See if we can get him. Put him on hold. We'll see if we can get him back during, in the next few minutes. We'll see if we can bring Dave back because, I think it'd be interesting to have an actual woman on the show when Dave is calling in to talk about why he hates women. Has
he done it before?
Yeah. I think this is a perspective that Dave has taken in recent years, like over the last few years, because he used to call in about how he was trying to get a date. And I don't think he's had a girlfriend in like the last decade, basically, since he's been calling Free Talk Live. Always angry, always upset about something. And so now he sounds like he's turned into a misogynist. He's, taking it out on the female species. And it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to hear, how he came to this particular conclusion, why all women are worthy of his hatred. So I'm looking forward to hearing his explanation. Now, Bonnie, have you ever spoken with this character before?
Yeah, I've talked to him. Remember, he was having issues because
he always is having issues.
He took a picture of his driver's license as a picture.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh, no. He took a picture of his driver's license picture when it wasn't Uber Eats like I used to do. It was another one like that.
He was doing Instacart.
Oh, yeah. Instacart asked him to take a picture of himself in real time to verify his identity. He took a picture of his driver's license.
And they failed him for it. That's right.
So they locked him out of his account. And I tried to explain to him, you have to take a picture of your actual face.
Right.
Because it's trying to show that it's really you using your account. They don't want a picture of your driver's license. Because that could be anybody taking a picture of your driver's license. Right. He did the exact wrong thing, and he was really mad that Instacart fired him for that.
Yeah.
But not mad enough to go get another job.
Dave has had a long history of not having jobs and losing those jobs, so we will find out what his latest anger-inducing episode has been. In the meantime, you're welcome to join us. The number is 603-283-6160. And coming up, Bonnie, you wanted to tell us about a UFO reveal or at least some sort of statement by the federal government?
Yeah, apparently a task force. It says a task force will share data it collected on unusual flight phenomena with Congress. UFO enthusiasts rejoice, but a German expert with decades of research under his belt doesn't believe aliens have ever been to Earth. This is from... Oh, I don't even know what this website is.
There's a bunch of articles about this right now.
Yeah, there was an article. There was like lots of articles about it, but the one I clicked on is from Made for Minds. So
we can talk more about it coming up.
Yep. So the number is going to be 603-283-6160 if you want to call in with your thoughts and if you want to maybe weigh in about this alien situation. Bonnie and Ian here, Free Talk Live.
A newly recruited search and rescue officer, Marshall Hunter was resigned to a life of rescuing wayward spacefarers and derelict satellites. But when a billionaire couple goes missing, his own ship is disabled during the rescue. With communication satellites suddenly failing and lunar mineral shipments disappearing in transit, the crew suspects it's more than a coincidence, and Hunter must choose between salvation and sacrifice to save his crewmates and their civilian charges. Frontier by Patrick Childs and BingBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Do you feel like your nation, state, or community no longer holds your values? Have you dreamt of a place where people agree that liberty is important and are free to pursue their projects so long as they respect the property of others? There are many people just like you that are discovering freeprivatecities.com. Their social media links are at the upper right of the page at freeprivatecities.com. All skill levels will be needed when the first of the Free Private Cities opens. It's sooner than you think. Stop arguing and build. freeprivatecities.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Breaking weather news. Belize is sunny and around 82 degrees every day this week.
What's the forecast for your life? If current politics and economic prospects are cramping your freedom, escape to the tropics. ECI Development has affordable second homes for you to own or rent in Belize and other tropical countries. Places with stable governments and growing economies. Secure your freedom now. To find out more, send an email to ftl@ecidevelopment.com.
Do you appreciate what we do? Help us advertise, market, and promote for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. You can call in to be on the air with us and talk about whatever is on your mind. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. In the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie.
And it's me, Ian.
And we already have a caller on the line. We tried to get on the air with us last
hold
time.
on. So we're training Bonnie here doing first chair. She's doing an awesome job, by the way. So congratulations and thank you, Bonnie. But one technical thing I haven't told you about off the air, I should tell you about now because of who this next caller is. So the dump machine takes like a minute to build up, and it's almost there. And now it's just about ready. So once it finally says the dump button like highlights there, it says it's ready. Now we're safe to take this next call because sometimes this next caller gets a little excited. Sometimes he says things on the radio he's not supposed to say. In fact, the last time he said the C word and we had to use the dump machine on him. So I'm hoping we won't have to do that this time, but we always want to make sure we're safe about that. So
Okay, so Dave, please don't say any cuss words because I'll just drop you and you won't get on the air. But you wanted to plug your website, right? And I looked it up and it definitely looks like it's your website.
Hello?
Hi, Dave. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
We hear you. What were you calling about tonight, Dave?
The site, it's called soundgasm.net/u/audio worth saving. That's where I put all my podcasts and swear words, and you just look it up.
Now, are you no longer?
we looked it up.
Are you? Yeah, we're on the website right now. Are you no longer on YouTube? Are you no longer posting there?
No, because first you get a warning, and then you get a first strike, and then you get a second strike. I got a second strike. I don't use Hudson Valley Guy and the number one anymore. I'm known as the Rebellious Dave.
So wait, you've got a new YouTube channel called The Rebellious Dave?
The Rebellious Dave.
All right. So what were you calling about tonight?
I hate women.
Oh, no. Why? What happened?
Well, if you go into my podcast, you'll know why.
No, we wanted you to tell us why right now, because our listeners aren't going to go to your podcast necessarily. Some of them might, but probably the supermajority of them won't. But a lot of people have been listening to you for a long time, call this radio show. And, I don't think you always hated women, Dave, did you?
Well, it started with Melissa Roberts, Kim in Boston. This woman back in 2013, this girl, her name's Katie Sarvis or something, right? She hit me up when I was still living over at the BWS, right? The BWS Battered Women's Shelter back in 2013 or whatever.
Isn't that where you were living?
Yeah, back in that's where I was living back in 2013.
How is it that a man gets to live at the Battered Women's Shelter? This is something I've always wanted to know about you, Dave.
This person does not seem like he should be allowed there.
Are you going to tell the truth and explain why you were living at the Battered Women's Shelter?
No. Anyway, but she hit me up on Facebook, invited me over, right? And then, we went and did it. It had SEX, right? And we went and did it. And then I asked if I could spend the night, and she's like, no, you got to go now. And I'm like, why? Oh, my boyfriend might be home soon.
Thanks for self-censoring there, Dave. I do appreciate that. So, did you hate women back in 2013?
Not really, but these SLs and these words I really can't say.
I think you can say slut. We'll give you permission to say that on the air. You can say that, okay?
What about the B word?
It's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, you can, but I prefer you if you didn't. So I mean, Bonnie, you're listening to this for the first time. Dave, I mean, you've spoken with him briefly in the past. But, I mean, why do you hate all women, Dave?
I can name names. Do you want me to name names?
No, that's not helpful because those are just allegations. It's not fair. The people you're naming aren't here to defend themselves. So why did you go from being interested in women to hating them? And are you now interested in men?
No, I don't like men because these women, they'd rather be with somebody else rather than being with me. They'd rather be with somebody else rather than being with me, right?
I would rather be with Ian than you, so do you hate me for that?
Melissa Roberts, Kim in Boston, Claire Adrian, the Catfish. I have a whole bunch of names I can name, and they're all on my podcast.
I know, I see all those names here.
So are these all women who have rejected you at some level or shown you some interest initially and then rejected you? Is that what happened?
Melissa Roberts, she used to live up in New York, or somewhere up in the upstate New York. Right? We were friends for a while, and then she moved down to Florida. Right? She became this, right? And then right? She goes, you have no life, you have no money, no future, no friends, et cetera, right? And then
I mean, was she wrong?
And then she goes, oh, I'll call you when hell freezes over, right? and then the third email, she goes, do you want to be arrested again? Leave me alone. Don't email me.
Okay, but was she wrong?
What do you mean was she wrong? Me and her, we used to be friends.
Okay, but wait. She said that you have no life, you have no friends, you have no future, you have no money. You have no money. I mean, what was she wrong about?
Well, she was his only friend.
I have some friends. Yeah. I have some friends.
Okay.
The future, I don't know. But she really pissed me off, right? And she goes, oh, and all I wanted her to do was to get Snapchat and Bitmoji because I like voice chatting with people. I don't want to see any of these prostitutes on Snapchat. I'm sick.
When's the last time you went out with a girl? When's the last time you went on a date?
Many years ago. But the last time I got laid was back in 2013. 2013, it was with Katie Sarvis, She was a fat whale, and I went and did her, and then she kicked me out because, my boyfriend might be home soon.
Why do you think that she was interested in you, even though she had a boyfriend?
We were friends. Like I used to be friends with her brother a long time ago, back in the 90s or whatever, when I was back in high school. And like her brother died or of drugs or something, whatever. But like, I was friends with her sister, and then she hit me up on Facebook, invited me over. We went and did it. Right?
Well, any girl to answer the question, Bonnie, for Dave, any girl that would be interested in Dave to have him come over and have sex with her obviously has issues.
Yeah, you're right.
So Dave,
and then Gloria Rayevsky, right? Check this out. Gloria Rayevsky from the BWS, right? She used me for rides. Bring me here, bring me there, do this for me, do that for me, right? I even had to do her grocery shopping, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that, right?
Was this an Instacart customer?
What?
No.
Was this an Instacart and Uber customer?
No. Gloria Rayevsky, she also
It
lived
sounds like
at the
he made his
BWS.
rounds through the battered women's shelter.
No. When I worked for Instacart, this was back, in 2017, 2018.
All right. So, but Dave, it sounds to me like I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that your overall negativity, generally, because you've been a real negative guy ever since the first time you called this show, that your overall negativity and just being in your demeanor has manifested in some really bad experiences with women because you yourself don't know how to interact with other human beings on a humane basis.
I just hate women because they would have to be with somebody else rather than being with...
Okay. Because you've had a real bad time with women because of you, Dave. It's because of the choices that you make, the opinions that you hold, and the way you treat other people, whether they be male or female. You cannot get along with people. And so really the hatred, I think, is probably of yourself, and that's just manifesting outwards. More Free Talk Live coming up. Thanks for the call, Dave.
Carl Watner, longtime proponent of a voluntary society, died last December. You may have seen his articles published on his website, voluntarist.com, in his newsletter, The Voluntarist, the Mises Institute, or elsewhere over the last 40 years. His newest book, I Must Speak Out, Volume 2, The Best of the Voluntarist, is now available via Liberty Under Attack Publications. This 430-page second volume spans the years of 2000 through 2020 and includes articles by Carl Watner, Hans Hermann Hoppe, Carl Hess, Benjamin Tucker, George H. Smith, Lysander Spooner, Pete Eyre, Joyce Brand, and many others. I Must Speak Out is for the newly initiated, the veteran voluntarist, or anywhere in between. Buy the book now at libertyunderattack.com/voluntarist. For more great content on building a voluntary society and for Carl's extensive archives, check out voluntarist.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live listen line, 641-793-0191.
On March 16th of this year, a joint government task force raided the New Hampshire Bitcoin Embassy, the Mighty Moose Mart, the homes of Aria DiMezzo, Andy and Renee Spinella, Colleen Fordham, a grandmother, and perhaps most relevant, the studios of Free Talk Live. The Crypto Six were arrested, most were released, but Rich Paul, also known as Nobody, and Ian Freeman both remain in custody. We've been in contact with attorneys that say no crime even appears to have been committed, but that didn't stop the Joint Thug Task Force from ripping out wires from the back of our broadcast stacks, taking Free Talk Live off the air, violating our and your First Amendment rights. You can go to thecrypto6.com and donate to fight against these charges. But as importantly, contact media and tell them about this outrage. This case is likely to set precedent for the use of cryptocurrency well into the future. Help our fight for liberty and financial freedom at thecrypto6.com.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. To get on the show tonight and talk about whatever you like, you can call 603-283-6160.
We've had a lot of callers tonight.
Yeah, we have. For
So,
Wednesday, too.
Thanks for everybody participating.
Yes, it's been fun. Tonight we're going to talk about the UFOs we brought up earlier.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
A task force is going to be shared with Congress, but a German researcher who knows a lot about UFOs says that he doesn't believe that aliens have ever been to Earth.
Well, now, of course, UFOs are different than aliens. It's important to point that out. A UFO is an unidentified flying object, which could just simply be a weather balloon or, a drone or something else that somebody has put up into the sky that they're in control of. Or maybe it could be an alien. We don't know.
This says if you have an interest in UFOs, unidentified flying objects for the uninitiated, and have always wondered what exactly the U.S. government and intelligence services know about them, June may be a big month for you. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, a group within the U.S. Department of Defense, is set to present an unclassified report to Congress this month about what knowledge Pentagon officials have gathered on UAPs and how they are dealing with the data they have managed to collect. UAPs is the term military officials and researchers who don't want to be associated with the expression UFO use when talking about objects in the sky that fly without any visible form of propulsion in patterns that defy our knowledge of physics. So yes, the Department of Defense will tell U.S. representatives and senators what they have learned about unidentified flying objects in U.S. airspace. And the public is going to hear all about it, though there may be a delay between the presentation in Congress and the release of the full report to the general public. Oh, so it's not public.
Not yet.
No hushed conversations on secret military sites. No hushed conversations on secret military sites, which conspiracy theorists are sure have been going on since the UFO purportedly crashed in Roswell, New Mexico in the summer of 1947, but a straightforward report.
Well, we'll see about that.
Documented evidence collected by the military. Avi Loeb, professor of science at Harvard University and director of the Institute for Theory and Computation? Is that how you say it? Computation?
Mm-hmm.
Within the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, told DW what makes this such a momentous occasion. This new report is different from past discussions on unidentified flying objects, or UAPs, in that it involved documented evidence collected by military personnel based on detection by multiple instruments, radar, infrared cameras, optical cameras, Loeb wrote in an email.
Yeah, so, what it sounds like, and again, we're speculating, we don't know what this is actually going to include, But it sounds like they're going to acknowledge some sort of UAP or UFO activity. Maybe they will have some kind of video. Didn't this already happen during the Trump administration? Wasn't there something in like 2020 where there was like some sort of military video of an unidentified flying object that came out? Do you remember hearing anything about that?
That does sound familiar, but
Maybe this is like the continuation of that or something?
Was that like less official and this is like a report of all of them?
I think that there was some sort of official release. Maybe it was just the Air Force or something like that. Maybe it wasn't this task force that was formed, but maybe the task force was formed during the recent years. I don't know. I don't follow these things closely, so if there's any UFO fanatics out there that can kind of give us this historic rundown on where this task force came from, I'd be curious.
This says the information presented in the report is likely to indicate the possible existence of objects which behave in ways that cannot be explained by the technologies we possess.
Yeah, and so I don't think what you're going to hear, and it's not saying that people what they're expecting out of this, but some people might be expecting a reveal that we've always known there's aliens. This isn't going to be about aliens. It's just going to be about UFOs, and it may be maybe interesting. I don't know if it'll be disappointing. It may be that they have some video that hasn't been released, and you can see some sort of thing in the sky do something really unusual. And they will, deny any knowledge of what that thing could possibly be, and they'll say that it's not their thing. They're not controlling. It's not one of their aircraft or whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a real revelation, but
almost nothing the government hypes up like this ever is.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring on our caller, David from New Mexico. David, you're on the air.
Avi Loeb from Harvard, huh?
Who?
Speaking of Avi Loeb.
Oh, that's the person in the story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay.
Did I say his name wrong?
Speaking of UFOs, let's see, a video. Google this. Drone with adult toy led to confrontation, I can say it, at Manny Gonzalez political event. That's the sheriff here in Albuquerque. He's running for mayor. And somebody punched him at his campaign event, and they also at the same time.
What?
Yeah, a 20-year-old kid took a swing at him, and Manny defended himself. He caught the punch, but the dude got arrested.
Yeah, that's pretty ballsy. Very brazen move to actually attack the sheriff.
Right on.
Wow.
But it might help that the sheriff is about 5'3", but. Anyway, the funny part is this, and like I said, you can Google this.
Has he got small man syndrome?
Maybe. I don't know. He's always been nice to me, so I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But
David is 4'11".
4'11", yeah.
Are you really?
The title of the article is video, drone with adult toy led to confrontation at Manny Gonzalez political event. This is just like last. Somebody mounted a dildo on a drone and then flew the drone over Manny while he was speaking.
I like that one a lot better than punching him.
That is pretty creative.
Did they have to stop the event he was speaking at?
I don't even know. I haven't even watched the video. I see the still, but I haven't watched the video myself yet. I just heard all about it.
That would be pretty hilarious video. Oh my God!
Well, it's right here. You can Google it and find it a couple different places. The place I'm looking at is flipboard.com.
Okay, yeah, we'll see if we can pull that up here in a little bit. Maybe maybe Bonnie will put it out on our Free Talk Live social medias since we can do that now.
Yeah, it looks hilarious.
All right, what
David,
else? David,
I wanted to ask you: have you ever seen a UFO since you live in New Mexico?
No, I have not seen a single damn UFO my entire life.
Bummer.
Disappointing.
What about you, Bonnie?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't live in New Mexico, but have you ever seen a UFO?
No, I saw this light that looked like it came from the ground up that was crazy one time in Utah, but that was from a military base, and I was facing the military base, so it very well could have just been a bomb they were testing because they tested bombs where I lived.
Yikes. All right, David.
Yeah, else? I saw a military missile one time too, but it was only unidentified for like the first minute, and then I figured out what it was.
Oh God!
All right, what else you got for us?
The conditions of release question. I brought this up a couple of years ago when I had a run-in in a courtroom over these, and now you guys have dealt with it. And I posed the question back then that we never got answered, and I've never had the time to research it. And I was wondering if anybody knew, when a judge says these are your conditions of release, and sometimes they're really stupid. Like for the catch, or the one that you always hear is no alcohol, no entering places that serve alcohol, and they do that even when whatever crime you're alleged to have committed had nothing to do with alcohol. They'll still put that in there, which is weird. And so
there's some standards.
But it begs the question as to. Theoretically, we know this isn't true, but theoretically, everything that the government does to you through a court, through a judge, is supposed to be based in law, which means that there's got to be something written somewhere giving the judge permission to deny you the ability to drink a beer because you were speeding, for instance.
Interesting. Well, thank you for the call tonight, David.
Yeah, I suspect that exists somewhere. There's probably a list of standard bail conditions.
They don't follow their own laws. 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. chat.lrn.fm.
Reflecting on the persistent troubles it caused his sibling during childhood, local doctor Daniel Barrett told reporters this week about his average-looking brother, Kevin, who first inspired him to be a cosmetic surgeon.
As a kid, I remembered thinking that there was nothing I could do for Kevin. Watching someone you really love and care about suffer from a weak jawline or unsymmetrical features, it had a major impact on me.
And in this week's local news, a community theater gives the part of Blanche Dubois to Kathy Hamilton. In other news, a moviegoer manages to sneak candy past a teenage usher earning $7 an hour. A new app matches you with others in the vicinity who wasted $2.99 on the same app. And a Roman centurion crawling out of a New York City manhole cover is in for one wacky adventure. Having graciously spread my knowledge to the uneducated masses, I now return to the stately, elegant ranks of News Announcer Society. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. The number to call, you shouldn't call anymore because this is the last segment.
We could take an unscreened call.
The number is 603-283-6160.
That's why we have a dump machine.
With us in the studio tonight, it's me, Bonnie.
And it's Ian.
And I would like to thank our amplifier tonight. And if you want to know what amplifier means, it stands for advertise, market, and promote. Our amplifier tonight is Nick C, and he's a silver amplifier.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, so that means that Nick is contributing $5 a month to the AMP program to help us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live, to help us get on more radio stations and bring new listeners on board with the ideas of freedom. So definitely appreciate it, and you get some cool perks. Hopefully, once I get able to get on email and computers again, I'll be able to actually send out thank yous to whoever it is that signed up over the last 2 months while I was in jail, because I don't think anybody else was taking care of that in my absence.
Okay, so what website can somebody go to sign up for the AMP program?
Good question. That is amp.freetalklive.com. You can use PayPal, and you can use credit card. Technically, you can use Bitcoin, although I couldn't do anything with it. No, I don't think we've had a Bitcoin sign up in 2 years or something like that. But technically, you could use that. I just can't touch it legally, so it doesn't do us much good at this point. Thanks, federal government. So check it out, amp.freetalklive.com.
Okay, so we have a caller from New Hampshire. Jack, are you on the line with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Ian, how you doing, man? I called a while back about my situation in Stratford County. I'm not sure if you recall or not.
Yeah, you were sitting in there with Chris Cantwell, former host on Free Talk Live.
Yes, exactly, man, exactly.
I remember.
Hey, I'm glad you're out, first of all. But
thanks.
Hey, can I mention an ongoing case here in the state and what's going on with it?
Please, yeah. What's going on? Give us fill us in.
All right. Well, briefly, this guy, it's Supreme Court case number 2021-0093, State of New Hampshire versus Timothy Verrell. Unfortunately, there was 2 people murdered in this situation. And I guess in reading this document, they found blood on the victims underneath their fingernails, blood on the victim's ring, and blood on the ceiling in the residence that doesn't even match this guy that they were trying to prosecute for 2 counts of murder. And his attorney asked several times for all the discovery in this case. You have to read these documents to see the amount of discovery that was not given to the defense. I'm telling you right now, you will not believe it. It's sickening what they're trying to do to this guy.
So this guy's at the Supreme Court level. Is that because he was convicted of murder and is appealing?
No. His case, because they withheld all this evidence, you wouldn't even believe it. It's like 3 long pages of evidence that they withheld on this guy. And it was declared a mistrial, and now his attorney's filing a motion to dismiss all charges against him because of what they did to this guy.
Who is the party that's withholding the evidence?
Prosecution.
A lot of it was the state police.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to look at it and just read it, and it shows how corrupt the system is, because they're doing the same thing to me.
So let me see if I'm following this. So he's accused of murder, a double murder. Evidence. Correct. There's exculpatory evidence on the scene that suggests somebody else was the killer. There's blood evidence. There's a bunch of stuff that wasn't handed over in discovery. A mistrial was called at the Superior Court level, and they have appealed some aspect of the case, the discovery aspect, up to the Supreme Court.
Correct, asking for it to be thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm betting right now they don't throw this out. But the way I read it, they have no choice but to throw it out.
And what is?
I mean,
sorry. What is the name of the person who's being wrongly accused? Probably.
His name is Timothy Verrell. Verrill.
And what brought this to your attention, Jack?
Because they're doing the same sort of thing with me, and I called you once before. You know, they're withholding evidence. They made lies to the judge that they couldn't back up. So, you know, my situation's still ongoing, and I'm fighting them.
Are you out on bail right now?
Yeah, it took me a year to get out on bail.
Wow. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Due to COVID? I've heard there's some crazy delays due to COVID in New Hampshire state courts.
Yeah, I got delayed a long time because of the COVID. I think it was March till November. I was going for a jury trial, and we got 2 days into picking a jury, and they decided to shut down the court once again.
Wow.
For COVID, and the judge had really no recourse but to let me get out on bail finally.
So what's the status of your case right now? What's going on?
I'm supposed to be going to trial in July. So I just wanted you to read this, and everybody out there, read this certain case. It's New Hampshire Supreme Court, Timothy Verrell. The number is 2021-0093. Check it out if you get a minute.
Thanks, Jack. The sad thing is there's just no end to this stuff. I mean, there's so many people who have had just absolutely terrifying experiences with the court system, with dishonest prosecutors, withholding potentially exculpatory evidence, that is to say, evidence that could get you off of a charge, that if the prosecution is being honest, they share it with you. And if they're not being honest, they shove it under the rug and they pretend like it doesn't exist, and they get a conviction and you go to prison and you didn't do anything at all. And there's just no shortage of this.
Thank you so much for the call, Jack. That's just sickening. Today at the courthouse, the federal courthouse, when I went there with Bitcoin Gandhi, Bitcoin Gandhi wanted to do a human microphone thing, and it's chanting. So he wanted me to be the microphone. Well, the speaker into the microphone. They were the microphone. So he just told me to say something, and I was like, okay, these people are liars. So
and
they all yell back.
These people are liars.
Top of the because those people are liars.
Did they say it over and over again, or did they just say it once?
They just say it once.
Okay, that's not the same as chanting.
They just yelled it to the doors.
Yeah, that is different than a chant. Like, that seems less mindless than a chant. Like, the repetition is what really drives me nuts with chanting.
I said, these people are liars, and I said, our rights were violated today. And then somebody else got to go be the microphone, or person speaking into the microphone, I guess.
The human microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. We also have a story here saying Amazon U.S. customers have 1 week to opt out of mass wireless sharing.
Uh-oh.
Critics raise transparency fears over plan to turn all smart home devices into mesh network. Amazon customers have 1 week to opt out of a plan that would turn every Echo speaker and Ring security camera in the U.S. into a shared wireless network as part of the company's plan to fix connection problems for its smart home devices.
Wow.
And this was published Tuesday, so I guess they have 6 days. The proposal, called Amazon Sidewalk, involves the company's devices being used as a springboard to build citywide mesh networks that help simplify the process of setting up new devices, keep them online even if they're out of range of home Wi-Fi, and extend the range of tracking devices such as those made by Tile. Oh, wow, that's what a Tile thing is, what our roommate is always saying I need to get because I always lose things. Like, I lose my keys all the time, and he says you need to get a Tile. It's a little tracking device you put on like your keys, and then like you can use an app on your phone to find your keys.
Yeah, I actually that same roommate convinced me to get this like over a year ago. I don't think I ever really had to use it because I'm not so bad about losing my keys, but it seems like a really cool idea. It just was kind of janky in how it was like applied in the way the technology worked. Like, I wasn't particularly impressed with how well it worked, but it wasn't bad.
I got one a while back, and guess what? I lost the tile before I could put it on my keys, so I didn't even know where it went.
I didn't know it was an Amazon product, though. Maybe they bought it. I bet they bought the tile. Is my thought. So I want to hear more about this. This is interesting.
It says Sidewalk has come under fire for the apparent lack of transparency with which Amazon has rolled out the feature, as well as the limited time available for users to complete the tricky process required to opt out. Other critics have expressed concerns that failing to turn the settings off could leave customers in breach of their internet service providers' terms and conditions.
Ooh, yeah. A lot of internet service providers do not want you sharing their connection publicly. You know, they don't want, and so it sounds like, so do you know what a mesh network is?
Nope.
So, I mean, without being an engineer myself, it's a way for people to set up their own sort of alternative internet, basically, that, like, if the internet went down, we could all set up these mesh networks with our own equipment and still have transmission between different houses or whatever. They're going to do that with the Amazon products, basically, the Echo and the doorbell thing that they've got. This is maybe we're talking about on another time.
This has been Free Talk Live. Thank you for all your calls. It's been Bonnie here.
See you then.
The Terran Federation and the Terran League have been killing each other for decades. Sheltered, wealthy, and light years from the threat, the members of the 500 have no interest in changing that. When Rear Admiral Terrence Murphy is given governorship of a backwater system, a risk-free path to wealth and power is his for the taking. But Murphy is a man of honor, duty, and responsibility. He intends to stop the killing, whatever the cost. Governor, by David Weber and Richard Fox, from BaneBooks.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated